What is going on, lads? Jack here, and welcome to episode 25 of the Pentagon challenge with Guangzhou Hengda. Yeah, you'll notice the fact I've said Guangzhou. I'm going to be going with Guangzhou rather than Guangzhou. I don't know. I was thinking about pronunciations, and I think Guangzhou sounds right upon reflection. So yeah, this is the, I guess, first update while I've been at this club, I guess, during the season. We've had a pretty interesting start to the season. A lot has kind of changed, stuff's happened. I'll come on to it very shortly, but we've done well in both the Champions League and the League. I'm going to start off by showing the league table actually. So, in terms of the league position, you'll see we are in second place with 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, and we are in a position that's it's not a bad one. I mean, we have superior goal difference to Chengdu Blades. They are top. They drew with us actually at one point, so I'm not sure who they lost to. We lost to someone very early on in the season. Luckily for us, we have bounced back very impressively, so stuff is good, I guess. I'm going to cover the league first, our league form, and then I'm going to move on to the I guess the Champions League, just to keep things simple, so that you can kind of keep track. So to start with, our first game of the season came against Shandong. They're a very good team in this league. They usually finish top 4. We had signed a number of their players, and they did indeed take a very early lead against us in this game. Fenggang for them getting the first goal. Looking at the stats, pretty 50-50 game. We edged possession. I guess superior finishing was the difference between the two teams at the end of the day. So it was very interesting to see, but I mean, things have been interesting this season because you'll notice as we go through this that to begin with, I really wasn't sure what formation to play, and it took a very long time for me to get something I was happy with and felt like worked per se. But as you can see, Fenggang here running, has a shot. Keeper, a little bit disappointing in the way he dealt with that, and he's able to blast in on the rebound from up close. So that made it 1-0 to them. We did respond almost immediately in the 16th minute to get a goal back. Came from, a set piece that was never really cleared by them. We were able to retain possession. We worked the ball into the middle eventually, and Zheng Long is there to bury it to make it 1-1. It wasn't until late on in the second half, however, that we clinched what ended up being the goal that separated the two sides. You'll see here, they really had the ball here in the centre, and we hit them on the break big. Big old Hunso, the young South Korean striker, former Beijing All-Star. I mean, who else? He plays such a vital role in this team when he's fit. He has, unfortunately for us, been injured for about the last few weeks, so that's been a little bit disappointing. However, when you see the scores as we progress, you may have even had a few that caught your eyes. You'll really see that it's not been a lack of goals without him. But anyway, that was a good goal there by Monrio. That made it 2-1, and it wasn't in extra time that we got another goal just to really firm out and secure our win. Limpeng with the header from the set piece. So, moving on to the next league game, we drew 2-2 with Dalian. I'm not going to cover this game just because there's quite a lot of games to cover, but it was a 2-2 draw away from home. Very disappointing. 2 points, I guess, dropped in many respects. We missed a penalty. And in fact, we did come back from 2 goals down, and we could have really come from 3 goals down had we converted the penalty. Looking at the stats, we had slightly more shots, same amount of shots on target. Possession was pretty 50-50, and arguably a pretty fair result for either team. So that was a first kind of time we dropped some points, and then we went to Jiangsu. Well, actually, we played at home to them, and we lost at home 1-0. Looking at the stats on this game, They hit us on the break once and scored, and this was when I started to question my tactic that I showed you in the previous video. It was very attacking minded, and this game really made me think, well, this could happen more than once this season. And so you'll notice that I did change things up, and I will actually show you when I started to change things up. So anyway, we then went to Chengdu Blades away from home. They are the team really up there in terms of, I guess, the league table. They were the team who won the league last year and beat us by a very slim margin. Looking at the stats, we were fortunate to draw, but you know, it was a good hard-earned point one. We went 2-0 up actually just into the second half, and I was a little bit disappointed the way we threw it away, but fair play to the lads because we did hold on for about the last 20 odd minutes to clinch, I guess, a vital point, and a very good 2-2 draw against the team who are probably the strongest team bar us in the league. This was our first goal coming in the 44th minute. The ball bundles and kind of bounce around in the area, and Bowen eventually gets there. Zen Long with a very nice assist. Bowen this time turning, I guess, assister with the ball coming in, and we just kind of ping the ball at their goal. Keeper's only able to parry it on a number of occasions, and eventually the pressure tells and the ball hits the back of the net. They got a goal back fairly quickly. Set piece, pretty disappointing. I might go shouty on my players about that. And unfortunately for us, they did follow up their first goal of the game that came in the 50th odd minute with one in the 64th, and in the end, 25 minutes we kind of clung on to at the end. You see here, a very well worked goal by them. They did control this game for the most part, and perhaps we were lucky to get the 2 goals that we did get. But at the end of the day, the scoreline says 2-2, and we walk away with a point. But anyway, it was at that point after this game that I was like, well, I might need to mix something up here. Something's not working. And I'm just going to highlight the next set of results. So you'll see there's a lot of green and a lot of yellow. But before I kind of move on to the fixtures, I kind of want to show you what I changed. So this is the formation I've been rocking with, I guess, since I talked about the change that I've made. I kind of have an abundance of attacking wingers. I've been trying to train them to all play like either left mid or right mid, as well as just the attacking mid position. So this is a 3-4-1-2. Trying to explain this pretty simply. You've got 3 centre-backs who are limited defenders who are just going to ping the ball up to the big men up front or to the midfielders. 2 holding midfielders in Wun He and Wang Tong in this case. One's a ball winner, one's just a centre defensive mid. They drop back and I guess just kind of show some support for the guys playing defensively. Then you've got Zheng Long and Jumin really have supporting roles. They're allowed to just bomb it up and down the wings when they have the ball and when they feel necessary for it to. Woozy, been a good player for us so far this season. A few assists. He's not played too many games, but when he has, he's done a good job. And then Zeus and Kong up front in this instance. So that's the change that I've made. It kind of just gives me a bit more defence, I guess, in this core 5 players in the centre, whilst the wingers also do some defending, or wide midfielders even, do some defending when we're not on the ball. And then it gives us a nice little, I guess, free at the top to stay in attack. So that's the change I made. That you may remember previously, it was kind of Woozy was back here, I think, I'm trying to remember now. And then Zen Long was up and Jumin was up. It was like a 3-1-2-3-2, or it was something stupid. But really, it just didn't work because they had too much space on the wings, and we were conceding far too many goals with players bombing it down the wings against us. So I changed it up, and you'll see instantly we got a good win away at Renhei, who are another fairly strong team in this league. They have underperformed in recent years, however, we got a 2-1 win against them. Hunter on the score sheet. We went 2-0 up, conceded 1, but we did see the game out. I'm not going to show the highlights of this game, but you can see we had more shots, we had more possession. It was a good win. We then went at home to Beijing IT, and I will show this game just because it's Beijing IT. Hunso getting the 2 goals against his former club. Looking at the stats, we did dominate the game. It was probably, I guess the scoreline probably reflects a closer game than it really was. But no, it was weird playing against Beijing IT because I kind of wanted them to win in a weird way. I'll show you the league table again because Beijing IT have really struggled. They've actually made it into the knockout stages of the Champions League, but they have 1 win in 10 in the league and 9 losses. So that's really odd. I mean, I know they have a small squad, so whether or not they've been prioritising the Champions League because they need the money. I mean, admittedly, we bought a lot of their strongest players off them for a significant amount of money at the start of this year, which is probably how the club get out of debt. But at the same time, when you buy, a team's 3 core players, it's going to be tough for them to replace them. But anyway, we took a 1-0 lead here, and then Miguel, the Brazilian guy who I brought in, good playmaker, having a lot of the ball. Al Habo, another player brought in, and Mantega, all these faces, all these memories. But no, I think they score here, actually. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure they do. And Zhu Ting there with a tiny little finish for them. That made it 1-1. That was slightly against the run of play, and at half-time I did go pretty shouty at the team. Fortunately for us, however, 60 minutes into the game, we did get a second goal. Hunso again, the real target man guy, lurking in the centre with the finish. Good goal by him, 2-1. And then we moved on to the league, and this was really when the tactics started to work, I guess, because when you play a tactic like 3-4-1-2, you're not going to keep many clean sheets. You're going to score a lot, and you'll notice that if I just highlight these, the next 4 league games, there's a total of 19 goals in 4 games for us. That's without counting the ones we concede. So, let's get straight into these. I'm not going to cover every game, or else we'll be here a while, but the first game was against Saint-Jean, where this tactic really clicked. You'll notice good solid 5-0 win. They had nothing really going forward. They had some possession, but not a lot. 14 shots, 36 shots, 14 on target. Surprisingly, it was only 5-0, to be fair. It could have been a lot more on another day. It was nice to see 5 different goal scorers as well. The likes of Dong, the centre-back who came in, Zeus getting a goal, Ruapan getting a goal, lots of centre-backs getting on the score sheet, actually, now I look at it. So that was a good 5-0 win. We then got a 1-0 win against Beijing, which I won't show again because it's a 1-0 win, but another game could have been so much more. They had 31% of the ball. I mean, this is a Beijing side who were a top 4 team a few years ago, who are really struggling, but we really took the game to them. We had 44% of the possession when it was in the middle of the park compared to their 18%. I mean, that's ridiculous by any standard. So that game could have been a lot more. And then eventually I guess it could have been a lot more, really did happen with this scoreline. I mean, Jesus. I've not seen a game like this on Football Manager, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to show the highlights of this game. We may be here a few minutes, just a heads up, and I'm not going to be able to remember who scored in what order, because I just remember watching this game and just not really believing what I was seeing. But I'm pretty sure there was 2 hat-tricks scored, and Zeus got 5 goals in one game. I mean, 9-4-9. I mean, really, like, I've played Football Manager for a long time, and I've not seen a 4-9 before, I'm going to be honest. But anywho, Bowen got the opening goal. I'm trying to commentate this as if I can remember what happened, but when I was watching this, I was literally in a state of shock. Like, I can't really, I guess, recall what happened. I have a feeling Zeus got 4 of his goals in the second half, but I mean, when I was watching this game, like, sometimes you'll play Football Manager and you just won't believe what you're seeing. Probably the last time this happened on this save was when I was Beijing IT against Beijing, and I went 4-0 up and lost 5-4. So when I saw this, I was sat there kind of rubbing my eyes, thinking, "What the hell is happening?" I'm gonna lose count of the score. I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad that during the game there was a score counter in the top left, or I just wouldn't have known what day of the week it was. Okay, I think that's the last goal of the first half. I'm really trying to remember here. I'm trying to stitch together little details, but no. Oh, okay, it was the last goal of the first half. See, I know what I'm on about. But no, this was a really kind of, I don't even know, kind of game. I'm pretty sure that was for Bowen's hat-trick. I'm not sure of anything, though. I mean, I tweeted this out to a few followers, and people were like, whoa. It was a pretty weird one. I don't know. I can't say I was predicting this scoreline at the start of the game. I'd be interested to know, actually, what have your kind of most shocking scores been, or highest scoring games been on Football Manager. If you want to leave them in the comments, that'd be cool to look through. Kind of curious, seeing as I think I've had a few kind of 10-goal games, but to have a 13-goal game, and it's like, it's not as if it was 2 teams with a massive skill gap. I mean, there is a skill gap between us and them, but into the grand scheme of things, it's not a 9-4 kind of skill gap. If you get where I'm coming from there, I think that made sense. So yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, what your, I guess, experiences are of crazy, like, what the hell scorelines. I mean, I'm just watching all these goals, and it's hard to believe they all went in 90 minutes. yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else to talk about here. We've got Zeus. I guess this is something I can talk about. Zeus hadn't made many appearances before this game. I kind of thought, you know what, the lad, I know the lad can play an important role in a team. I have faith in his ability. I'll stick him on. He's only made 2 appearances. He scored in both, and actually he scored 5 in this game. I probably would start him more, except from the fact I have tried him on the left wing, and it didn't really work. And I'm losing count here. I mean, what day of the week is it? I'm just sat here watching Zeus banging goals. I mean, I wish I could tell you how many goals we were on here, so I know how long's left to ramble over. I guess Balbuena there, another familiar face. You guys may remember him as the holding midfielder a few years ago at Beijing IT. The guy who was replaced by Mantega, for those of you who can remember. What was the other thing I was going to say? I was going to say that I'm probably going to do I'm going to split this Pentagon challenge into series. Like, it'll be 5 series, and it'll be 1 for each continent. This is probably going to be the longest of the series, but that way someone who hasn't seen the series before can kind of pick it up without having to catch up on like 6 hours worth of videos, because I was looking at how long I guess this season or series is so far. It's over 6 hours. So if I can break it up into, I guess, 5 slightly more manageable chunks, people can watch them I guess as and when they want, but I'll still recommend you watch them in this order. But this is a series that could potentially have more than 100 episodes. If someone finds this like late, so to say, it might take them a while to catch up on them. So that's one idea I'm playing with. I'd be interested to know what you guys think. I mean, it must be hard for you because I do upload daily to keep on top of things. Anyway, I think we're done. Yeah, that was a really obscure and random game, as I said. Zeus getting 5, Bowen getting 3, Z breaking the combo that was the Bowen and Zeus show with a goal in the 92nd minute. But anyway, yeah, that was 9-4. The final league game that we had was against Shenhua. I got told to call these Shenhua because I'm pretty sure it's how you're meant to say it. So I apologise for calling it Shenhua. I feel like a bad schoolboy getting told off for poor pronunciation in like a French lesson or something. So we're going with Guangzhou and Shenhua. So kind of politely put by me. But anyway, they took a lead in this game. This was 1-0. This team were 3rd in the league, away from home. I decided not to mix up my tactics, and it really paid off for us in the end, actually. You'll notice a few of the players, perhaps, that I said I wasn't going to play in this game. Players like Conker. I have really been trying to rotate the rotate the squad. How did squeen come out of squad? But no, I've been really trying to rotate the squad this game. Try and, I guess, get everyone at least a few appearances, keep everyone happy. It seems to have been working so far. This is a game which was going to be close from the off, or at least that's what I predicted. However, by half time it was 3-1 to us, and the game was pretty dead and buried from there. We probably had the better of the chances. The chances were few and far between this game, but we took 4 very well. Conker playing really well. Again, another guy who I said I probably wasn't going to play too much, but he's doing a good job. But anyway, it was 3-1 for the most part of the game, and then Monreal in the 90th minute with a cheeky free kick to make it 4-1. So that's what's been happening there. So that means that I'll just show you the league table again. 2nd in the league behind Chengdu, who have drawn 1 and lost 1. We got a draw against them. You'll notice Zeus is 2nd top goal scorer in the league, and he got 5 in 1 game. So I don't really get that at all. Sad to say that Beijing are down there. I feel really bad. Actually, if you look at their goal difference, can I load up your goal difference, please? Go here. Beijing, although they are bottom, they've not conceded like a ridiculous amount and not scored. It's not like they're Sonjan, who are on the same amount of points but been absolutely hammered. So maybe they can get out of that situation. I'd like to see them do it, like kind of get out of there rather than all my hard work being undone at the club. If they go down, I might even try and get affiliated with them. Who knows? But no, so that's the league table, but now we have to move on to the Champions League, which is the thing that really matters this series, because the Champions League is what ultimately, I guess, dictates what happens in terms of the Pentagon Challenge. So, I'm not going to show you all the highlights because this video has already been pretty long, but the first game was a 2-0 win against Guangzhou. They had 10 shots, 1 on target. We had 8, 4 on target. 54% of possession to 46. This was a game that was, again, another game where there was few chances, but we did take 2. Dong scoring from a set piece and Hunso scoring in added time. So that was a pretty nice start, I guess, to our campaign. That did come to a very abrupt stop when we were playing against Balena Shizuoka. I think it's a Japanese team. We'll go with that. Some of these pronunciations are going to be hard. This was back when I was using the tactic, which has since been changed, just because we were losing a few games that we shouldn't have been losing. So bear that in mind, please. But this was a 3-2 defeat, and I have a feeling we went 2-0 up in this game. I might be wrong there. Don't quote me on this stuff. This was a game a long time ago. I mean, I've played 16 games since the previous kind of episode, so it's hard to kind of remember all the nitty-gritty details. But overall in the Champions League, we've been performing well. We had a little wobbly patch in the middle where we were drawing games that we really needed to be winning. However, we did up our game, as you will see, and we got some very critical wins in the last few games, which have seen us through to the knockout stage. I'm just saying that because, of course, you could see it in the fixtures. So the next leg is the second round. I'm probably not going to do a video on the second round match, just because that's not even like one of the last 3 matches, and because there's 2 legs and they're kind of spaced out. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, because it's 2 legs and there's a few games and a few weeks between them. So it's kind of a case of, do you want me to do the 2 matches in one video and then try and cut out as best as I can, showing any league form, which is near impossible? Or would you rather maybe one-off episodes of the games where I just load it up on match day so you can't see the league tables and I cover the matches? Because it's one of these situations where I prefer to do these kind of, I guess, thirdly updates, where after a third of the season's passed I do updates. However, I also want to show the key games, but at the same time I don't want to be boshing out too many episodes, especially if it's a 2-legged match with a few weeks in between, because obviously if I was to do an update just between each one, it wouldn't really work too well. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. But anyway, that was that 3-2 defeat. That was very disappointing. And then we had a longish break. So we got 1 win and 1 loss. We had a longish break to the Central Coast Mariners. We had 2 away games here. These weren't going to be easy. They were back-to-back. The first game was a 1-1 draw in Australia. What the hell? No, we dominated possession this game, but we really didn't get that many chances away compared to them. They were somewhat wasteful in their finishing, and in the end a 1-1 draw was probably, I guess, fair. So that was that game. We then had a 2-2 draw against Balena. Let's make a fun way of pronouncing this name. I can't even pronounce. Oh god. I mean pronounce. Oh, give up. Just give up. I'm just going to lay here and cry a little bit. Oh god, I'm failing so hard. You can tell it's a Sunday morning. Okay, new beginning. Okay, so we were playing against Balena Shizuoka. That sounds like a right way to say it. So Guangzhou against them. I'm not even going to try and say their name again. I'll show the highlights of this game. They took a lead 3 minutes in, and I was still with my head in my hands like, oh no, this is going to be like the last game where they beat us 3-2. I can tell already there's going to be goals in this game, because, I mean, with our formation, we are playing very attacking football. We are going to get a lot of goals scored against. It's more about us outscoring the opposition than out-defending them. So that wasn't the start I planned. 3-0. 3 minutes in, we went 1-0 down. We replied very quickly, Roulé from the penalty, which made it 1-1. And then we were able to take a 2-1 lead. Oh my gosh, I just can't get my words out today. I need to wake up. Can someone slap me around the face? What the hell? I just give up. What is this? So anyway, 2-2 was the final result. Here's their last goal. I believe this is their last goal. We screwed up defensively. But Dong, what are you doing there, my son? What were you doing? He doesn't even know. So that was a 2-2 draw. I'm trying to get through this quickly now so I can stop failing. We then came up against Guangzhou, which was a 3-0 win. Long, Lei and Z getting on the score sheet for us. We really dominated the game. They had 30% of the ball. 1 shot, it wasn't even on target. And 3-0 was probably about fair. And then the last game was against Central Coast Mariners. This was a game that we went into knowing that we had to win. We had to win in order to go through to the next round. If we lost to them, they would have gone through on head-to-head because we drew with them in the first game, but we were going to be tied on points if they won. So a draw would have been enough to see us through, and this game could have gone a lot smoother than it really did. I mean, this was another game where there was 8 goals in it, so 5-3 is a pretty obscure result, to say the least. It's not quite a 9-4, but it's well up there, really. So anyway, I think they scored first, actually. I can't really remember. It's another one of these games where it's like I can't really remember what happened because I was kind of sat there panicking, rocking back and forth in my seat, reassuring myself we were going to win the game. I think I've said it before, but I can never be a manager just because I'd like have a nervous breakdown on the sidelines. But anyway, first goal here for Zheng Long, coming in at the back post. Good finish by the lad, 1-0 up. And you'll see there was quite a lot of goals in the first half, actually. Trying to remember who scored when. Who scored this one? Is it a familiar name? I can't. It's not coming up. Oh, okay, Zhumin scored from the right. If this was the solo effort that I remember, then this is ridiculous. Okay, it's not. It's well weird when you've played this many games of Football Manager, all the matches kind of just blur into one hazy mess. But actually, looking at it, Zhumin really had a role to play in that goal. Contributed a lot. We went 2-0 up. That was a nice, I guess, well-worked goal. And we actually went 3-0 up through Conquer. Now, if I remember correctly, we were 3-0 up at this point, and I'm thinking, oh, we're home and dry. And then they ended up scoring 2 before half-time to make it 3-2. I'm hoping I'm right here. I'm going to look like a right derp. But I was pooping myself, really. Yeah, so I think they score here, and I think they then scored again, and I was sat there thinking, oh gosh, this is going to happen again. The amount of times we've, in important games, lost to comebacks. I mean, suspicions of offside there, but I'm not gonna shout at the FA because they'll come down and hunt me down. But anyway, no, this was another good result in the grand scheme of things. It's seen us through to the second round. I will show you the kind of league table as well as the team we're coming up against for you guys. But anyway, that was their goal again. So that made it 3-2, and I was sat there thinking, oh gosh, this is happening again. It happens well too much that we just throw away leads. But fortunately for us, we did see things out. We score here, I believe, to make it 4-2, which it's always nice to get that 2-goal cushion in games where you really need to just get a point. So, ball comes into back post. Zhumin was there. Second goal of his game. Second goal for the club. So it was nice to see him get on the score sheet twice. They then score here, if I remember correctly, to make it 4-3. Would that be right? No, in fact, we score here. What the hell am I on about? Le Pen gets the goal. Just a nice tidy finish on the rebound. So that was 5-2. Unfortunately for us, we did concede again, which wasn't ideal to see. I'd rather see us only concede 2 rather than 3, because it's not every game that you're going to be able to score 4 goals to win a game having conceded 3. But nevertheless, we have to, I guess, look and be happy with our performance in the Champions League in terms of getting that vital win. So that was that. Just a quick look at the Champions League, I guess, league table. You'll see that we finished fairly comfortably in that. We actually had better goal difference than Belena Shizuoka. However, because of the head-to-head ruling, they finished top, which meant that we got a slightly tougher draw. In the let me see if I can find the right group here. I want to show something because it made me smile when I saw it, but I'm going to be sat here searching through them all. Come on. I bet it's the last one. Let's just go straight to H. Yeah, it is. That's what those things are like. So you'll see here, Beijing IT qualifying for the second round. So although they're not winning in the league, it's really nice to see them doing well in this competition. Good for them, because I like to keep tabs on like former club stuff, and good to see them doing well in the Champions League, even if they're not doing so well in the league. But anyway, as I said, we won that match and that league, and we finished second, which has earned us a draw against Osaka AC, who are a Japanese team. You'll notice they lost to Chengdu Blades, so they're not unbeatable. I mean, we drew with Chengdu Blades, so it gives me some confidence going into the season. I can't view all their players. I'm guessing these 2 guys are going to be regens. Yeah, you see, they're not crazy players, so I think we have a pretty good chance of beating them. In the grand scheme of things, although that guy, Jesus Christ, Fenton, what the hell is he? I'm really curious about this lad now. I know he's a foreign player. I might look into signing him. Jesus. Okay, enough going on about crazy players. This has been a very long episode. Apologies for the fact that results finished like 9-4 and 5-3 and really high scoring games that take a long time to cover. I appreciate it if you've watched it all the way to this point, because I know I've been failing hard with my pronunciations this episode. If you could like the video, really helps me out, guys. Remember to leave the comment telling me what your craziest result in Football Manager is. And other than that, I'll talk to you guys in a bit.